Hey everybody, David here, and a few years ago, maybe back into 2016, I did a video where I compared the first three DC films to the first three Marvel films, because I thought that would be a fair way of comparing both the DCEU and the MCU. And I just got reminded today from another podcast that ranked them a little bit differently than I'm going to today. I was reminded that we got four extra movies for DC, and I thought, you know what, it's time for an update. Now, the video that I made back in 2016, it's a very mixed video. I think I got a lot of hate and flack on that one because of my opinion, but I have thick skin, and look, if people disagree with me, what am I to say if they're right or wrong, right? They can disagree with me all they want, but I am going to put my opinion out there and say, well, that's the way I like it, that's the way I hate it, that's the way it is. Again, you don't have to disagree with me, you don't have to agree with me, just make your own list in the comment section below, and just say what's on your mind, what you think is the better film or the worst film in these two categories. So the way I'm going to do it, once again, it's been a few years since that last video, but I'm going to do it again. No matter what kind of flack I get. Maybe this time it will be a little bit more even, because I looked at this list and I think people will hopefully be a little bit more lighter on me this time around. I'm going to warn you now, if you remember that list, nothing's changed in the first three. So here we go. Starting with the first challenge, I had Iron Man versus Man of Steel. Once again, I'm sticking with Man of Steel as my favorite. That's my favorite. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it, but I love the story of Superman. I think Iron Man 1 is a great movie too, but look, if you're going to ask me which one do I like more, I prefer Man of Steel. I'm just saying, I think there's a richer story there with Superman's origins, you know? So, and maybe it's just, you know, Batman and Superman are my top two favorite heroes. I don't think it's that. I think it really just is an underappreciated film that doesn't get much love, but I have heard a lot more people stick up for this one, so maybe some people will be on my side. We'll see. If not, like I said, put your list in the comment section below, and feel free to say what you want. If you want to tell me off, go for it. The next challenge I have is The Incredible Hulk versus Batman v Superman, the second films in their cinematic universe. And once again, I'm giving DC the point on this one. I just think Batman v Superman is an underappreciated movie. It's funny because I also think The Incredible Hulk is an underappreciated movie on the MCU side that doesn't get talked about a lot these days. I really enjoy both of these movies, but if I'm going to pick one over the other, I'm going to pick Batman v Superman. And yes, the theatrical cut or the extended cut, I don't care. I like both versions. I get why some people don't like the theatrical version of Batman v Superman, but I do like it. And look, if you don't, I can't argue with you. So I just like what I like. So moving on to the third challenge, Iron Man 2 versus Suicide Squad. And you're probably thinking I'm going to pick Suicide Squad. Wrong. I'm giving Marvel this point because I really do think Iron Man 2 is a much better film by a mile. And Suicide Squad, there are issues with it. I'm not going to argue with anybody that wants to hate on that one. If there's people that like it, look, I don't hate the movie, but there are a lot of problems with it that I do see nowadays. I seen it when I first saw it, but it's not a perfect film, but I also get some fun from it at the same time. I really do like those characters in that movie. But compared to Iron Man 2, Iron Man 2 is like a masterpiece compared to Suicide Squad, so there you go. Iron Man 2 has similar problems, in my opinion, to Batman v Superman, but again, both of those movies don't really bother me. too much with their setups for upcoming films. So I know other people are a little bit harsher on those aspects. For me, not so much. Iron Man 2, you got the first point for Marvel. Now let's move on to the movies that I haven't done. Those first three or categories are the ones that I did in my earlier video. Here are the four that I haven't done yet. So let's get cooking. Fourth challenge is Thor versus Wonder Woman. This one was a little tough for me because I really do love the first Thor movie, and I really do love the first Wonder Woman movie. It's the first right now because we are getting a sequel soon. But I am going with Wonder Woman on this one, and I think it's a fair reason why I'm picking Wonder Woman over Thor. I really do love the first Thor movie. I love the character of Thor, and Loki is a great villain. I think he's a better villain than Ares is in Wonder Woman. I think Ares is a little underused, but I did like the twist with him a little bit in that movie. And the battle, I know a lot of people say the third act of Wonder Woman is a little weak. I disagree. I think it's actually a little bit more entertaining than the final battle with Thor and Loki. But what I do give extra points to for Wonder Woman that really helps elevate this film is the relationship status, where Thor and Jane are just a little boring to get through. There's no chemistry there. Chris Pine and Gal Gadot have great chemistry. And that's what really helps elevate that Wonder Woman film. And plus her origin is really good too. I think Thor has a pretty good origin, but when you compare it to Wonder Woman, I think Wonder Woman lands by a landslide. So, Thor, I love you. You're still one of my all-time favorite MCU films, but when I'm comparing you to Wonder Woman, I gotta go with Wonder Woman on this one. Challenge number 5. Here we go. Ready? We got Captain America, the First Avenger versus Justice League. Some people might be surprised. I'm not going with Justice League. That's right. I'm giving the point to Captain America, the First Avenger. This is a movie that has actually grown on me more and more as time went on. I used to have this at the bottom of my list of MCU films, but I've done a remix of my list of MCU films, and it has actually grown on me a lot more than I realized. And I watched a video recently on Captain America, the First Avenger, and why it's a great movie. And this video really came up with a lot of great points. And Justice League was just a huge disappointment for me. I think it's fine. I like it better than Suicide Squad. I'll say that because the characters are, once again, the characters are enjoyable in the film. And I do think Justice League compared to Suicide Squad has a better story. But Captain America, the First Avenger is just a much more better executed film than that. So it breaks my heart to put Captain America, the First Avenger over Justice League because Justice League should have been so much more. But hey, Marvel had a better film in this area, so in challenge number 5. So congratulations, Marvel. And this is what the next one is what challenge 5 should have been. Challenge 6, Avengers versus Aquaman. Let's face it, there's no challenge here. The Avengers wins hands down. No. Look, I enjoyed Aquaman. Although when I rewatched it, it was the opposite effect of Captain America, the First Avenger, where I really enjoy it still. I really do. I think it's a fun film, but it has dropped a little bit, on my opinion. Where when I first saw it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It dropped to a 7 recently. So, again, I still like Aquaman, but The Avengers is The Avengers. It's one of my all-time favorite superhero movies, so I'm definitely giving it to this one. So, if you haven't kept up with the score yet, it's 3-3 right now. We're going into the tiebreaker, challenge number 7. Are you ready for this? Iron Man 3 versus Shazam, the newest DCEU movie. So, we got the first movie of Phase 2 going up against DC's second film in their DCEU. I don't know if it would be considered a Phase 2 movie. I guess Aquaman would be more of the Phase 2, right? Because it comes after Justice League. If every phase ends with the Avengers for the MCU, I guess every phase should end with Justice League. Well, who knows when we're going to get Justice League 2, so their phase could go on forever. But anyways, going on to this, Iron Man 3 versus Shazam. I think Iron Man 3 is an underrated movie, but I do see its problems, especially with the Mandarin twist. I totally understand that. For me, the Mandarin twist works. I think the movie is nicely made. I think it's interesting that they had Iron Man out of the suit for a long time. It wasn't about the suit, it was about the man in the suit, which is what I really took from it. But Shazam is a lot of fun. And look, Iron Man is a fun character too, but I think Shazam was something unique for the DCEU. It was like big with superpowers, as some people would compare it to. It really was. Iron Man 3, if you've seen the other two Iron Man movies, it's kind of more or less the same thing. Where, of course, it's set during Christmas time. Funny enough, Shazam is also taking place during Christmas time. I don't know. The family aspect of Shazam really got to me, where with Iron Man 3, yeah, you're bringing in these fire people with fire explosion abilities. I don't know what they are really. That's where it kind of loses. The villains kind of lose the movie a little bit. I think Mark Strong in Shazam is a better villain, personally. He's not the best villain of all time, but he is a little bit more interesting than Guy Pearce as the real Mandarin, apparently. And of course, the Mandarin, like I said, is a disaster. So with that, Shazam is getting the point. And guys, once again, just like in that video that got me in a lot of trouble last time, this might get me in a lot of trouble now. DC wins 4-3. And look, there's no right or wrong answer here. Everyone's going to have their own opinion. That's why I'm asking you to comment below. And the way I match these movies up together, I want you guys to do the same thing. Match them up and say which one do you like better. Are you all one-sided on Marvel, or are you all one-sided on DC, or are you a little bit more fair and open to both sides? No, the one who has the better movie is the one that wins. That's just who I am. I'm not a biased person. I don't pick one over the other. I like both of these studios. I think all these films are great to some degree. Even the ones that are disappointing, I think, have their moments. I can always grab something that I appreciate from them. But look, that's the way I put it right now. Maybe another 3, 4, 5 movies down, I'll do this again and see who's still in the top position. Because I think this is fun, comparing the DC movies this way, rather than comparing it to something like Infinity War, which destroys all of them. So, with that being said, comment below, like this video, please subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a huge fan of Marvel or DC. Like I said, no bias here. And with that being said, until next time, take care.